Okay, I'm going to read some mesostics, just to explain what a mesostic is. You have a source text and you have a seed or a spine text. My source text for this, as you can see, there's a lot of steel in Bronwyn's work, and it's a 1922 book, The Work of Steel, Annealing, Heat Treating and Hardening of Carbon and Alloy Steel. I don't know whether you've read it. And the source, the seed or spine text is Bronwyn's name. So with a mesostic, you would take a word or a series of words like a name, and you would work your way through the text. So I've selected the first capital letter B, the first capital letter R, first capital letter O, N, etc., and work my way through that way. And you select text around the instances of the capital letter. So this is 7 steel mesostics for Bronwyn slave. But to return to the regenerative open hearth, on the other hand, it can be phosphorus manganese. Note the consumption for the heat, 4,700 kilowatts per hour, or 710 kilowatts per hour per ton. Electric steel, in fact, nickel chromium, etc. Plain carbon steel. Steel makers have no uniform. Lathe, spindle, common uses, extra soft machine shop tools. It is a remarkable fact that the Franco-German border could be converted into steel. However, silicon is noted above, where B has a hardness of 1 rock, now used in steel manufacture. Originally nickel steel has remarkably good mechanical qualities with the same carbon content. Chromium, elastic, tensile, per nickel, per vanadium. Limit strength, 2 inches of 1.25 to 1.75 L, 3,330, 0.25 to 0.35 SAE. Phosphorus, excellent. It has a tensile strength from the finishing master cam. Great care should be taken to see the quenched and annealed forgings. However, in the case of 50% brittle hardness oil, reheat to a temperature of one of the largest producers of ring gear, number 6135, or from 975 to 1025 degrees Fahrenheit. While the axle shaft is a state, as a general rule, steel should be worked when it is the bement works of the Nile. Diameter of stock, size of wheel lock, Lovejoy and Company to establish. The spray is blown up into the cooling tower E, which contains banks of lime or ashes. If heated in direct contact with the steel, the results are obtained by packing the steel as follows: high-speed steel, alloy steel, tool or crucible steel, and about 1% chromium. Bullens recommends burnt bone, raw bone, burnt bone. Into the steel is a gas, carbon monoxide, CO, derived by combustion of nitrogen compounds, nitrogen and cyanide, shown in figure 38, water inlet to wash, 10, electric cleaner, warm, sodium, silicon, not over 2%. Manganese, 0.3 to 0.6%. Sulfur, carbon content, upper critical, lower critical, worked out by E.J. Yanitsky, metallurgical engineer of the Illinois Steel Company, as situated in front of a battery of police and quenching machines. A new mill file does not bite in the least. Having passed this file test at several points, subjected to a griddle test for each steel and temperature readings at the lower die. On further advance of the lower plunger to the outer reservoir, N, passing to the cooling system by means of the overflow, O. When the lower plunger will average from 8 to 16 per hour. Each machine is served by 1 man, pressed on in 11 hours. Cyan and phosphorus, 0.015%. Such a steel will have heat treatment L after forging. Sheffield, England, illustration IG65G81. Hold dia angle to quench for proper hardening. But the usual feeling is, remember that high carbon steel hardens interest. Other makers use different numbers. Number 3, temper, circular and long saws heading dies, weldable, instituted to mechanical engineers, allowed to cool in an iron tray. No comparative tests of waste of lead. Such a bath is good for saw teeth, 39199 light straw, supplied by automatic and electric furnaces quenching directly infused salt. It is interesting to note, grey, blue, Fahrenheit, high temperatures judged by colour. Brown, yellow, visible in full, very dark blue, 752, red heat, visible in the dark, 885, bright cherry red, 2012, orange red, between the blast pipe and the tool. Never allow the tool to soak high-speed steels. We recommend them per pound 7 electric, low temperatures are required. No difficulty. The copper ball or Siemens water, freezing point 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Lead and the charcoal, freezing electromotive force between D and E. There will also be electromotive force when its circuit is openly closed, illustration F, controlled by the position of G. Make D movable as intended. Heavy protecting outer tubes. Thank you.